Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass. This is another 100k faction review. Let's go. Alright, so 100k. It got a big rework up in January. When this comes out is probably still January, to be honest. And I'm actually really excited. I'm very happy with the rework. I'm happy that what it did to the faction. When they were previewing the models, I wasn't super happy about it. There were things where I'm like, I don't think this is that great. Some of my opinions have changed, where I was like, this is a negative. Then I thought about it a little more and talked to some people, and they were like, nah, it's actually this good. And I'm like, okay. While they actually fixed some of the things from that preview they showed in the happy hour in December to the current release of the rules. On top of that, this is being recorded on like a Wednesday in the middle of the month, and there's the Vanguard change went out to all the other factions, so they kind of got hit by Vanguard. I know Nords got hit by like Raiders being now 20 more points because their captain, or 10 more points because their captains went up to 20 instead of 10. Thank God. It's not going to change the list much, but it is going to make them pay for their very good scoring options. We, however, are going to be talking about 100k and the things that has been going on with the faction and the changes that make it actually much better. Funner to play, a lot more list diversity in builds, and how the combinations work. I also have a couple lists prepared that we'll talk about at the end, but let's go through the PDF, and we'll kind of talk about stuff, and as I talk about more, we'll kind of find some combos and fun things you can do with the faction, and all the interesting things. So, at the top, we have our army rules. This makes the faction be split into 4 sub-factions: Imperial, Theist, Feudal, and the Orders. With that, however, the Orders and the Feudals have this thing where they remember the red years. We don't, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what happened, but they have not been friends and have not sat at the same lunch table since then, and I think they're not okay with one another. This is to say that if you have Orders characters and Theist characters, they cannot be in the same army at the same time. You can have Orders regiments and Theist regiments in the same army, but not characters. What's fine. This doesn't I don't want to say it like changes list building. It just doesn't make one of the 4 combos work. What's fine, because Orders be having access to Theist buffs and abilities and how that Theist stuff is working would be a little powerful, and it also allows them, hopefully in the future, to expand upon the Orders more and give them a little more robust upgrades. That's something I would like to see more, because like one of my a couple of my issues are with 100k is that range shooting in 100k is very stagnated. They've kind of split that up with how Hunter Cadre now works. So now Hunter Cadre are a bit different, but they also gain a little power back into the range shooting with the Relentless Drills army rule. I'll just go over it now, where if you have, this is the resolve bonus section, where your resolve bonus adds +1 seizing to your command stand. This allows your lights to score. So your lights can score, and you're gonna take more crossbows, you're gonna take longbows, you're gonna give them 4 or 5 stands, and you're gonna score. On top of that, if you're a vet regiment with 5 or more stands, you gain Inspire. Initially I wasn't really thrilled about this because there's like hindering terrain, there's dread, there's all that stuff, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm inspired, I'm hitting you. I guess, like, in a charge clash, I'll kill you, maybe. And if I do, well, I'm there anyway, because my actions are done. But if you're stuck in a prolonged fight, it'll matter more, because you have another action, what you can use to rally. You have another action that you can use to reform. You have another action where you can march. So it gives you a little bit more action economy, what is good for your regiments. But you're not going to get it all the time. I'm not even going to bother fighting it or anything. I'm going to be like, you should have gave them always Inspire. I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. You get a little bit of action economy when it lines up, what's fine. Lastly, in the 3 army rules, we have Dynastic Alliance itself, where you get to pick a warlord, then you get to pick another guy as your dynastic ally. This will allow you to have both the supremacy abilities and the sub-faction army rules in your list. I do like how it's clarified. I do like how they made it easier for the army to function and the faction to function. And I also like what this is going to take us into is the sub-faction rules and the supremacy rules. These 4 sub-factions and these 8 either the 4 sub-faction rules and the 8 supremacy rule, or the 4, my apologies, the 4 supremacy rules. These 8 rules, I kind of like throw them all together as one, simply because you're going to be getting 4 out of the 8 of these majority of the time, and you're just going to kind of go with it. So first things first, we got rapid deployment from the Imperial sub-faction. So 2 friendly Imperial infantry regiments are going to be gaining Vanguard 5, and you're going to decide that after rolling for... currently, when are you going to gain this? During the supremacy phase. So after you really roll your reinforcements, you'll decide who gets Vanguard or not. It's always been good. Vanguard's been always good. Rapid deployment's been always good. It's a really solid sub-faction roll. Yeah, it's fine. Like, you're going to be using a lot. You're going to be comboing this with our next one, Family Traditions, what allows your... if your warlord has the feudal sub-faction rule, then the army gains access to the sub-faction rule. If the army's warlord has the feudal sub-faction battlefield rule, then the army gains it. Okay, cool. My apologies. All feudal regiments in the Warlord's Warband gain the veteran battlefield rule at no additional cost. It's great. So you're going to be trying to find as many things you want to be veterans into the Warlord's Warband, just so that you can get free veterans on everything. Save you those points. Spend them elsewhere. On top of that, all the feudal regiments and characters gain the Dynastic Allies sub-faction battlefield rule. So that means if you're have an Imperial warlord, they're all going to have... all the feudal stuff are going to be Imperial as well as feudal. And this is actually really nice because you could have one warband, so your warlord's warband, getting all veterans. Then you can have a second warband, but is also feudal. Let's say it's a noble lord on foot with his household guard. And you pay for veterans in that one, but also they're going to have Imperial anyway, so that's how you're going to get Imperial tag onto everybody. So you're going to get the Vanguard on a lot more stuff. It's really good. But then we're going to tie that into our third one, which is March of the Faithful. So this is the Theist sub-faction, where all the veterans and the Theist regiments gain Divine Purpose. And any friendly Theist regiment is within 12 of a Theist character, they're going to gain Indomitable 1. Okay, so the Mounted Noble Lord, who is feudal, who is the warlord, and the Theist priest, who is the sub. You got the dom and the sub. You know me. I gotta make these stupid ass fucking jokes. Are the Mounted Noble Lord, he's going to be both Theist and feudal. He's going to have a 12-inch bubble of Indomitable 1. He's going to give Theist to his House of Knights. So the House of Knights are going to be Defense 4. And they're going to have Indomitable 1. And then we're going to get into some... I'm going to skip the orders really quick for a moment and get into the supremacy rules. Professional troops, the feudal characters, all have an 8-inch bubble of reroll 6s on the Clash and Defense. So the House of Knights are going to be Defense 4, reroll 6s with Indomitable 1. It's only going to get better because that ties into Spirit Shrines, where the Theist supremacy is one Theist priest in the army may immediately perform one additional out-of-sequence spellcasting action. The spell is automatically successful, requiring as resolved as if it scored the amount of successes required. So you just get a free spell off. Really good. Before, you do this in the supremacy phase, you find out who goes first, who goes second. In addition, when a friendly Theist character successfully casts a spell targeting a friendly Theist regiment, all other Theist regiments currently on the battlefield are also targeted and affected by the spell. So you're going to have Defense 4, reroll 6s, Indomitable 1. We'll talk about one of his spells is Blessed. Blessed Hustle Knights running around. It only gets better! Because we can get away to give them Indomitable 2 and a bunch of other crap. But it's really good. You have a lot of combos, as I've just explained. Lastly, for sub-faction rules, we have Martial Prowess. Veterans, the Orders, Command Stands, and Orders characters gain Flurry. We already know how Family Traditions from Feudal ties into this. You're going to make everyone Orders. He's going to make everyone Theist. He's going to make everyone Imperial. So Feudal is going to be kind of your catch-all. If you're like, oh man, I've built 2 regiments, but I need someone to kind of come in here and be the same thing. Feudal is going to show up and be like, got your back, brother. And then he's going to do your thing. For Supremacies, we already talked professional troops. That's always active. That's going to be nice. We already talked about Spirit Shrines, getting that free spell cast off, and then every additional spell after that is also going to affect everybody. We'll talk about the 3 spells when we kind of get to them, but he does have, like, Command stands and characters gain cleave +1. Command stands and characters gain flurry. You know, stuff like that. Give everyone evasion +1. So having that pumped out, you're going to get for sure a minimum 2 spells when you're running a Theist Priest onto the army. But for the Imperial officer, friendly veterans, infantry regiments may perform a free reform action during their activation and gain the opportunist special roll. Hunter Cadre are vets. Gilded Legion are vets. We have just found out that the family traditions, Feudal is going to make his warlord, his entire warband is going to be vets. So that's going to be Household Knights. It's going to be longbows. It's going to be more crossbows. That's going to be Household Guard. Well, you're not. The infantry is going to perform a free activation and gain opportunist. So Household Knights are not going to gain opportunist. But Household Guards sure are. Men at Arms are sure are. So that's going to be very, very good. And it's pretty great. Lastly, we have the first blessing from the orders. All friendly order regiments add +1 to their attack and gain harden 1. That's going to be really solid. You're going to tie that in Feudal. Like, Feudal's going to love you, guys. This guy wants to be everyone's friend, and he is everyone's friend. Because he's like, oh, I can just benefit from this. Oh, I can just benefit from that. Oh, I provide free veterans, and I also provide a bubble of re-rolling 6s. What's going to be nice. So, I kind of see whenever I'm building stuff, comboing these 8 abilities off of one another. Theist and Orders, the bottom 4 are not going to be friends, but that's fine. But already you have a lot of options to pick from. You already have a lot of combos you can do. And as we get it down more, we're going to be referring back up here because of how things work and getting more combos. What I do greatly enjoy, because 100k used to be really stale, it is now no longer stale. There's a couple things that I do, want. I want more. I always want more. I just want more. But overall, I am very happy with this update. And I'm also very happy to play this update. What the army does in a nutshell. You can run all cav. Yay. Alright, Imperial Officer. Let's talk about him. I believe he might have gone up 10 points. What kind of sucks, he's a support character, but he's also, doing a lot of support heavy lifting. His battlefield drills have changed, so now at the end of Supremacy, win or lose, you're going to select 2 regiments within 12 of him, and they're going to benefit from one of these 4 rules. What allows him to just, do the order or battlefield drill for the problem or what's going to happen. Brace for Impact, giving harden 1 to people. This is going to be really nice because you're going to be comboing this with like Men at Arms, Crusaders, Household Guard. This is also friendly regiment, so you can also throw this on Household Knights. You can also throw this on Ashen Dawn. You can also throw this on a bunch of other people. That's really nice. And as you see, the first blessing, it's harden +1. Oh look, it's already comboing. Target friendly infantry. My apologies. Oh, caught it. Okay. So harden +1 on top of the harden. So when Order of the Sword show up, you can give them harden 2, and also you can give them Men at Arms. We'll talk about harden 2 from this combo. It still works, don't get me wrong. You can't do it on Ashen Dawn. Kind of sucks, but like there's still stuff you can throw it on. Harden 1's going to be a kind of a go-to for a little bit. On your feet, getting rid of broken, rallying. That's always going to be good. There's times you need it. You have it. Point secure, getting Iron Discipline while on an objective zone. Not going to be bad, but also it's like, oh man, I really don't want to be charging the flank and no longer rerolling my 6s and getting all my support. Aim for the head. So Murderous Volley has actually improved because now you can pick and choose when you need it. Also having this, having to pick 2 means you won't just be like, well, the Imperial Officers in the unit of Gilded Legion, I want to give them harden 1 so they can live. Sorry everyone else, Murderous Volley and all the other ones are not being picked. But having to pick 2 friendly infantry regiments in 12 really allows you to pick and choose what you need. The draw event is still within 12 inches for the resolve. Kind of sucks, but also how crossbows and other range shooting have changed. There is a benefit of getting into effective range if you can get veterans on them, and then having that big blocky Gilded Legion hold off the line for a while so that you can be doing opportunist side shots in at volley 4. there is a combo because You're going to get opportunists for a turn. If you're veteraning the Merc crossbows, you're going to get to volley 4 when you take aim. And you are going to be rerolling your 5s and 6s due to opportunists, and you're going to do murderous volley because you're going to be in effective range. And you're all going to get +1 shot from the effective range. So you're just going to really unload into somebody, and they're really not going to have a good time. He gets 2 heirlooms. Yay. His warband is pretty good. You're probably going to grab, like, Merc crossbows and either, like, a unit of Guild Legion in your Hunter Cadre, or, like, Merc crossbows and double Hunter Cadre. He has a very good shooting / scoring and getting everything on the table build, because he also has forward force. Steel Legion, you can take 2 as mainstay, but Steel Legion's problem is that they are heavies, and they kind of want to be mediums at this point, to be honest. Like, I feel if they were mediums, you'd see a lot more Steel Legion play. They're just too slow as heavies. Well, Gilded Legion being a heavy currently, because you want the Imperial officer to kind of be in them, they're going to get a lot more effective use of. Especially with what the changes that happened to Gilded Legion, they are very, very effective. Next character, Chapter Mage. Nothing has changed except for her spells, so let's go to her spells. This is not spells. This is spells. Okay, so these are not in order. Kind of sucks, but that's fine. School of Earth, Stone Spikes, and Earth to Mud. You're most likely not going to be picking this one that much. Pike formation on a regiment with scaling, not that great. Earth to Mud is kind of good because target enemy regiment has to perform a charge as its first action. So you could just kind of have it sit there and do nothing, because it could just be either A, out of charge range because it's infantry, or B, its charge is 6 and it just kind of like not getting you. Or even then, because you're 14 inches away, and a lot of things are like, even if you're speed 6 or speed 7, like it has to be speed 8 to even be bothered to get to you. So you can kind of just stall something out, and it just can't do anything, and it's like, oh, this sucks. However, like this is kind of the spell you want to use. Scaling on it kind of sucks, but like, you got 6 dice. Hopefully you get it. Kindle Spirit +1 resolve. Fire Dart. Range 16, nice. Same range as the crossbow she sits in, so that's good. And then infects 1 hit per success, but it's AP 1 now. That was a little bit of nerf, but it went up to attunement 4. That's a little bit of a buff, so it's going to be hitting more, doing a little less damage, but it is also the same range as the Merc crossbow she's going to be sitting in. And she's going to let them score because of how the resolve bonus works for your command stand allowing to score. So she's going to be really happy with that. Air, Seeking Winds and Guided. Target friendly regiment gains aim shot, so you always have aim. It's going to just allow you to kind of move and shoot and be really nice with that. On top of that, guided, if you are within just like take aim and shoot range, you can reroll your hit rolls of 6, so that's going to give you a little bit more accuracy there. You're going to be using these 2 a lot. Or, well, I don't know if a lot, but like they are now effective because on top of that, she has no range self spells anymore. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, she has to be doing it to the unit she's in. Nah, you could just slap this on longbows if they're nearby. Like, you want to do that kind of stuff. Nuala's Tears got nerfed. It's attunement 4. It's range 12, and you heal. So actually, range 12 is pretty nice. So you now don't have to be within 8 inches of the thing you want to heal, but you aren't getting the 3 wound healing baseline. You just heal 1 per success. So most of the time, you're probably bringing back a stand. It's not a huge amount of healing, but it is there. But you can cast it from further away, so that's kind of nice. Elemental Vortex. Let's talk about her anti-casting capabilities, because this gets into some funny stuff. Target-friendly regiment. Until end of round. Enemy spellcaster targeting that regiment for the purposes of performing a spellcasting action. The spellcaster counts as having rolled 2 less successes. So if you need 2 successes minimum, you now need 4 successes to get a spell off. If you are within 10 inches, well, her range is 12, but if she's within 10 of that regiment will be affected under interference, so now they will be -1 attunement. On top of that, she has protective glyphs for 15 points. Enemy spellcaster selecting a friendly regiment within 10, what is also the same range as the interference bubble. The target of their spellcasting requires 1 additional success in order to successfully cast that spell. So you need to roll 5 successes at -1 attunement to get a spell off from stuff around her if everything lines up. I know a lot of wizards are not going to be able to do that. at -1 attunement and having to roll 5 successes. They will not have a good time. So she does have an anti-magic build, but is very funny, and I do like it. I don't know if it'll ever be played. I would totally bring this locally against Sorcerer Kings player just to watch them like squirm, because I think it would be really, really funny. Last spell on our list, magic missiles. Sorry, elemental missile. I cast magic missiles. 3 hits, spell automatically is cast. Love it. Overall, I like her spells. I like that there are no longer self spells. I like they have an increase of range. There are some nerfs, like the healing got nerfed. The fire dart, I want to say it's actually a buff just because you're attunement 4, you're the same range as your crossbows. The -1 to AP, like, it's fine. You have you've resolved crossbow. It's okay. Seeking like this the air school, now being able to just have spells or ranges, and they're not 8 inches, is going to be really helpful. So I think her spells, she's going to be played. She has some really good stuff. She's a great support caster. On top of that, you can spend 20 points, and she can select a second stool and gain its spells. So there you go. She can get up to 4 spells. I think she's 90 points base. Where are you, Mounted Noble Lord? Oh, she's 80 points base. So you can go up to 100 points and you can get 4 spells. So, not bad for a character. Noble Lord, nothing has changed. He's just got personal entourage, which gives the regiment he's attached to their veterans if they don't have it. Everything's fine. He can take up to 2 heirlooms. Same warband. He's fine. Don't really need to talk about him. Mounted Noble Lord. He also has personal entourage. He also, let's see here. Oh, he may include 2 or more regiments of Hustle Knights. So you can now finally live your dream of double Hustle Knight, double longbow. And you can add 1 stand to those longbows, and now they are scoring. And you're going to have a great time. So, there's good stuff there. Tourney Champion, +2 impacts. There's a bit of me that's like, oh, Tourney Champion's not bad, but like I'm kind of a Weapon Master kind of guy, getting that Cleave 1 on him. However, Tourney Champion, because he's going to go up to Impact 5 on his Brutal 2, it's going to be really good. And then there's a couple other things where we're going to make those impacts, like Brutal 3 with rerolls, so he's going to get a lot of work out of that for a very low cost. He's not bad. He's 130 points now? What the fuck? Is this guy 130? Is he actually 130? I did not realize that at all, if he is 130. App, tell me your secrets. Are you 130? Like, holy fuck. He is 130. I feel like why does the guy go up on points? Oh my god. Oh. That's insane. Next character we gotta talk about in his warband is the Crusading Noble Lord. His Crusading Bulls were hidden from us, but now they have been revealed. We have seen beyond the darkness, and we have banished it out. Hint, hint. He's got a really good stat line. Something I actually really enjoy out of him is that he's Resolve 4 base. This is going to be a huge help because every character before this was Resolve 3 or less. Yep. And the regiments they wanted to sit in were Resolve... my apologies. Resolve 3 or 4 if you were Gilded Legion, so it didn't actually help that regiment at all. And it was kind of like, there's other times where I'm like fighting regiments and like, they're Resolve 2. It's like, no, I have a Hold Ray in them, so they're Resolve 4 plus their size to 7. And I'm like, great. So now we actually have something that can get those higher Resolve values. That's really nice. His offensive stats are actually pretty good too. 5 attacks at class 3 with Flurry and Cleave 2. Really good. He's devout, so any spell casting on him is going to have 1 automatic success. That's going to be really good because he is usually going to be in a big unit of like Household Guard, Crusaders, or Men-at-Arms, and he's going to get a lot of work done with that beat stick. He is kind of outbeating the regular Noble Lord because he went on a crusade and learned how to hit people that is fucking mace. His Crusading Bulls, no, we'll do Path of Righteousness because he's righteous. Path of Righteousness. His warband's going to gain the Theist battlefield roll and Indomitable +1. As we already know from the army rules that I'm referring back to, all the Theist stuff, if your buy a character is getting an Indomitable 1, and now his entire warband is getting Indomitable +1. So all his stuff is going to be like Indomitable 2 if they're around him, or his unit for sure is going to be Indomitable 2. On top of that, we have his Crusading Bulls. So to restore the faithful, this one took me a little bit to actually understand. And what's happening here is while a friendly infantry regiment with an 8 of this character has resolve of 4 or greater, that regiment counts as having divine purpose special rule. It doesn't trigger the divine purpose, but it's a way to get it out on other things. So like if you have an Imperial officer with Gilded Legion, you could take Restore to the Faith and just have the Crusading Noble Lord and his unit of Household Guard beside the Imperial officer and his Gilded Legion, and then giving them divine purpose that way. And then when the spells go off, it triggers divine purpose. Or when we get to the Archangel, she's just hanging around, triggering their divine purpose. So that one's not bad. It took me a while to click what that actually meant. Banish the Darkness is going to be kind of the go-to, giving Oblivious with Indomitable 2 to Crusaders, Household Guard, or Men-at-Arms is going to be really strong in keeping them alive. On top of, let's say, you have Hardened 1 from the Imperial Officer. On top of, let's say, you have the 8-inch bubble of rerolling 6s on Clash and Defense from the regular Noble Lords, the Feudal Lords. So you're just going to get a lot of defensive output out of their bubbles, the different character bubbles. To cast out the Demon, I do like Terrifying 1 on his regiment. Except Oblivious is just going to get you further. Terrifying 1 is going to work in a lot of stuff. It's fine. However, there's a couple things. There's an entire faction that basically has no resolve. Don't know who that is. And there's also a couple things that just don't have resolve, or they are fearless, so they don't care about Terrifying. And so you might as well just take the thing that's going to be effective all the time. What is Oblivious? He gets 1 upgrade. Yay. His warband with Crusaders, House of Guard, Militia Bowmen, Men-at-Arms, Scutari, and House of Knights and Longbows. It's a really good warband. You're kind of going to find, Crusaders, Household Guard, or Men-at-Arms is what he's going to try and sit in. He's then going to, restrict into maybe Longbows if he can. And then he might take some Scutari. Scutari I really like the Scutari, actually. We'll talk about more, but they're great, just filler option. What can be self-efficient and work really well. We'll talk about them more when we hit them. But I do like Scutari. So, overall, he's very strong. He's very good. He's got a lot of stuff going for him. He's great. Theist Priest. Nothing has changed. Actually, lies. I'm wrong. He's Resolve 3 now. Thank fuck. Him being Resolve 2 sucked ass. I will 100% admit to that. Him being Resolve 2 was terrible. I was like, wow, he's fearless and Resolve 2. Great. Things that change, we'll talk about the spells. Those are the big ones. So, on top of his warband, Crusader, Scutari, Mainstay, as well as the Archangel, you're probably going to grab Crusaders or Scutari and then get into an Archangel or two, depending on how you feel. Having 1 Archangel is probably going to be a very good go-to. Having 2 Archangels is a little tougher. I'll explain why when we get to the Archangels, because it's kind of like a points thing. It's also kind of how the reinforcement roll works and having the consistency of them coming on and what they do. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of Archangels. Anyway, we go to his spells. Scroll down. There we go. Divine Sanction. Everything's range 12 except for that 1 self spell. Scaling. Tyrant Friendly Regiment Command Stand and characters gain Cleave +1. And you slap this on a Crusading Noble Lord. They are now, he is now Cleave 3. We'll also be throwing Elysium Fragment on maybe some Men-at-Arms that he's in, so they all get Cleave 3, and then him and the Command Stand get up to Cleave 4. That's going to be really good. We'll talk about Elysium Fragment there, but it's basically Smite, but it's affected by Harden. What? Little sad, but also whatever. Then we got Fervor. Reroll the Command Standing character, reroll their attacks. So if they have low defense or evasion or whatever, you cast this one. It's easy to get off, no scaling. The Crusading Noble Lord is Devout, so he will give Devout to his regiment, so that'll be 1 auto success, so that's going to be nice. Heavenly Blessing, the only self spell, he's going to give Bless to his regiment. This will trigger on Spirit Shrines, but will give Bless to every Theist regiment, so your entire army will get 1 turn of Blessed at the top of the turn, so you don't have to worry about trying to lose tempo getting it off. What I really do like, they made Spirit Shrines work, what's fantastic, because before it did not work. And on top of that, it would only work on things that had Devout. Well, now it just follows the entire Theist tag. It's thank goodness, because it kind of sucked a lot. It was one of the worst supremacies in the entire game. Now it is actually a functioning supremacy, and very strong. Next, Holy Fire. Buff to Holy Fire, range 12. Thank God, because range 10 kind of sucked. Still does the same thing. Affects 2 hits per success, so you can get a bunch of shots with his Holy Fire machine gun. Then he's got Saint's Favor. Target regiment gains evasion +1. You can give this to an Archangel who's evasion 2 base. And Skatari, so they get up to evasion 3. What's going to be just really funny, just keeping shit alive. I like his spells. I like what he's doing. Would I like Cleave +1 to everyone in the unit? Heck yeah. You know, would I like Flurry on everyone in the unit? Heck yeah. But I understand what's going on there. Just leave it to the characters and command stands. It's fine. He's going to be very good. You're going to see him a lot. Prior Commander. I don't have much to say about the Prior Commanders. You either get Crimson or Sealed. You change their stats based upon, and you kind of go there. They're kind of the same as always. You know, we've been playing with these guys for like 2 years. You know what they're doing. However, Errant of the Order of the Shield, the new hotness on the block, he has a very good stat line. Resolve 4. I like to see it. 5 attacks. Clash 3. He's Cleave 2 with a shield. So he's actually kind of good in duels at Defense 4, Resolve 4. And also being Wound 4. Like he's not gonna bitch out. And he's got his 5 attacks at Clash 3, and he can hit with Cleave 2. Like, this dude's gonna fuck someone up if they're not careful. He has a couple abilities here. So he has Up in Arms, where you get to have 1 additional mainstay, ignoring the usual restrictions. On top of that, infantry regiments in his warband gain the Vets battlefield roll, so that's going to trigger the Vets on Militia, Militia Bowmen, and Men-at-Arms. I believe Order of the Sword and St. Lazarus are already veterans because they're part of the orders. Fucking hope so. Maybe this is not St. Lazarus because they're a bunch of lepers. Poor guys. That's going to be really nice. He's got the Drive for Justice. He gives Fearless to the unit he's attached to. Okay, cool. It's going to be Militia or Men-at-Arms or Militia Bowmen. They don't have high resolve, but he's going to give them high resolve, and he's goddamn going to make them fearless. Then we got Like Gods Among Men. Originally, I wasn't super thrilled about this ability. I still am not super thrilled about this ability. It's something that's going to come up every once in a while. When friendly order cab successfully completes a charge against an enemy regiment, all infantry regiments within 8 immediately performs a free out-of-sequence rally or combat rally, and gain inspired until end of round. That's not bad. I just don't think it's really going to come up a whole amount, because if you're kind of like shooting past the lines and hitting something, and if you're not within 8, it's like, okay, it didn't do anything, or depending on the position of where things are at in the game. And on top of that, there's times where you're like, you're 100k. Majority of your stuff is wound 4. Majority of your stuff dies by looking at it. It doesn't get to live. If it does happen and you do get inspired, it's like, yay. This also works on non-order things. So like it'll affect all the Imperial stuff. It'll affect all the feudal stuff. So there's a bit there. And then getting more inspired on stuff is always good. So that's okay. And his warband. His warband is kind of the quintessential, I want a lot of Ashen Dawn, because you're grabbing Militia Bowmen. You're grabbing 1 MSU of Militia Bowmen. You're grabbing 4 stand of Militia Bowmen, so they both score. And then you're grabbing 2 Ashen Dawn, and then you're duplicating that, and then you're grabbing probably Imperials or Feudal, depending on how you feel. So you can get a bunch of Ashen Dawn and do whatever you want to do. It's good. Like, the different combos in the faction are there, and you're going to enjoy them. You have a lot of different diversity and builds you can do. You have a lot of things you can try out. I really like that Parabellum has breathed new life into this faction, because it was so stale, so much so that I really did not want to play them anymore, and now I actually want to play them. Alright, so let's go over the upgrades. A lot of the upgrades got gutted, thank goodness, because there was a lot of useless ones. A bunch of them changed to, I don't know if this is going to be used, but it's there. Armor Dominion is going to be used, and it is there, and it's still good. Same thing, but it's only on infantry, so you can't put it on Prior Commander and throw it in your Ashen Dawn. It was always funny. Loose Cleave, Loose Smite, it's good. Back-in token, the character gains Blessed. This is a 20-pointer. This one I don't think is going to pop off too much, just because it only gives the character Blessed. But if you got 20 points left over, and we got some killy characters, especially in the Crusading Noble Lord, it'll pop off. The thing about the Crusading Noble Lord is he already has Flurry, and characters gaining Bless means that you can't use it defensively because it's not a clash action when you duel, and their clash is always against the regiment. So the blessed is just going to be against the regiments anyway, and so you're not going to put on a Crusading Noble Lord. You'll probably put it on a Foot Noble Lord if you want to, but then you might as well grab Eccentric Fighting Style for an extra 5 points so that you can just reroll your attacks anyway and get +2 attacks, so you're not going to be looking at him. You could throw it on some Priory guys. They'll probably like it, but it's just, it's one of those things where you're like, it's not, like, because of how Blessed on character works, and the other options in 100k, there's things that are just better choices. Or they give more for, like, not much more cost. Mask of Icatus. This one is the 10-pointer. You're going to be grabbing this a lot. Veteran Regiments, this character is currently attached. You gain Indomitable +1. This will affect Cav, what's really nice. There's a laudable, especially in, like, if you're building Theist armies, all the Theist bubbles of Indomitable 1. Well, now you get Indomitable +1, so you're going to be a max of 2. There you go. You're good. You're having a happy time. Caliburn. You get to your enemy regiments reroll successful defense rolls against hits from this character during charge, clash, and volleys. This is going to be good. You might want to put it on a mounted character because then you're going to get to reroll all their impacts and you're going to get to reroll all their clashes, what's going to be really helpful. Flesh Cleaver, you lost Deadly Blades and you lost... no, that's Fiend Hunter. Flesh Cleaver, I don't know what you did before because I don't think I really took you. I think you were 5 points before, but now the character attacks ignore the Hardened X special rule. I would grab this if I was having a character fight Taloses, to be honest, or like Fallen Divinities. Like that Crusading Noble Lord. He's like, oh, I gotta go fight God now, and he's just like beating them over the head with the Flesh Cleaver. So there are reasons there. For 25 points, I'm probably not reaching for this very often, just because you're ignoring Harden, and I don't think things that ignore Harden should be worth that amount. Just because and especially because it's only on the character, you're not transferring that to the regiment. I think it's a little much. Lorien Lance, it's always been a great 15 point. It's always still good. Reroll your failed hit rolls when performing impacts, and you gain brutal +1, so you're going to like brutal 3 on your mounted noble lord and rerolling his 5 impact attacks. It's a nice 15 pointer. This is a choice of making the character a little better or giving veterans like more crossbows. It's good. Alright, our other stuff. Senator Steel. The Imperial Regiment. This character's attached gains Dread. It's good. And if they are veterans as well, they'll gain Unyielding. So your enemy cannot score that zone until they kick that regiment off that zone. It is 50 points. You're probably if you are grabbing this, you're grabbing an Imperial Officer for sure. Because you're throwing this on Gilded Legion. So they're going to have Dread. You're going to grab Armor Dominion. So they're going to lose all their cleave and everything. And you might even just give yourself Hardened 1 anyway against like enemy shooting, or if there's stuff attacking things that are not in the bubble of the Armor Dominion. But even just having Hardened 1 to reduce that damage is going to be good. Once we get into the regiments, you'll see that the Gilded Legion gain Bastion, so they're going to be like Resolve 4, Defense 4, they're going to be in a big block, their Resolve's going to be even higher. Gilded Legion are going to be doing a lot of work. Regalia the Empire, it's still really good. Feudal Regiments, this character currently attached to Dauntless. Now, the Crusading Noble Lord has Household Guard, Men-at-Arms, and not Crusaders, but he does have Household Guard. What is going to be Feudal baseline, and then he makes them Theist, but they are still both then Feudal and Theist, what means you can slap this onto them and have Dauntless, what is always inspired and never can be broken. So it's going to be good there. And you can take it with your Crusading Noble Lord. Old France Roar, it's for feudal characters only. That means you're only putting Glorious Charge on like Household Knights and or I guess Mounted Squires. I don't know why you want to do it on Household Knights because they have more impact attacks, but the loss of Speed of Horse and the reduction of impact attacks isn't really worth it, especially this thing out of 30 points. You cannot put this on order, so it kind of got nerfed a bit. Kind of sucks. A little sad. Elysium Fragment got better. Because you can, I'd say it got better. Because it's now on Theist Regiment, so you can now throw it on Household Knight, you can throw it on Household Knights actually, because it's only Theist Regiments, not Theist like infantry regiments. So you can put this on Household Guard, you can put this on Crusaders, you can put this on Men-at-Arms. You don't have to have a Theist character being the one who wields it. You just need to have it on a Theist regiment. So if you're doing family values and you have a Mounted Noble Lord, or sorry, I guess like a regular Noble Lord and a unit of Household Guard, or even the Crusading Noble Lord and a unit of Household Guard, and get that Theist tag, they can get up to the Cleave 3 for the end of round. What's really good. So, I like Elysium Fragment. You can also put it on a bunch of stuff, as I said, Household Knights, because you could just slap it on the Mounted Noble Lord, they get the Theist tag from the army rule, and you're good to go. Gilded Ramparts, Veterans, gain Oblivious. You know what? That's pretty good. Yeah. I would probably take Gilded Ramparts over Armor Dominion. But Standard Steel is still really good. They're both flags, which kind of sucks. So you can't double up on them. But yeah. If you wanted Oblivious and more stuff for some reason, like maybe if you wanted to have Crusaders to have Oblivious, but also you wanted Terrifying 1, this would be the way to do it. Because you could just change your Crusading Bowl to the Terrifying and then just take this. So there's options here. Mantle of St. Nick, the regiment the character currently attached against Divine Purpose. That's how you get your Divine Purpose on like Gilded Legion, because you can't do it normally because you don't have the family values. It's family traditions, but I'm just thinking about Adam's family values, that movie, and I'm like, that's what I'm calling it now. Sucks to be everyone else. Masteries. Student of Strategies. Overall, these are really expensive, but they're also really good. Art of War, the forego the draw command step mastery. Your character has to be on the battlefield for you to do this, where you can just be like, once per round, I'm just not going to draw my card and pass. I would recommend this if you have 9 or less cards. Once you get kind of into that 11 to 12 range, you have better things to spend your points on. Get in position, getting forward force. This is worth it for sure. 100% on a heavy. 30 points on a medium. I'm like, kind of biting the bolts on that one, but still forward force, getting flank is very strong. You still want it. You're going to buy it. Seize the Advantage. There's a fun combo we can do with Seize the Advantage. So the Imperial Regiment activated as a result of an Entourage activation adds +2 to their charge distance until the end of round. So we're going to make a unit of Gilded Legion go faster than a horse. One of my issues still with 100k is that the horse and the cavalry are still slow. And this is how we outpace them. So you have Seize the Advantage. You have Divine Purpose from either the Crusading Noble Lord who's giving it out, or you have Divine Purpose from Mantle of St. Nick, and then you get a spell off on them. So now your regiment is charging like 9 inches, 10 inches minimum. But you can even get this further. So if you have Seize the Advantage with the Divine Purpose from the Crusading Noble Lord, and you activate the Supremacy ability of the Imperial Officer, you will Fluid Reform. You get a free reform action? Oh, too far. Let me just double check. Pretty sure it's a free reform. Oh wow, this thing is being dumb. There we go. Yep, perform a free reform action during their activation. Nice. So you can then get an additional like 2.5 inches. What's going to be fun? So you are speed 5, goes up to 7, goes up to 9, plus 2.5 is 11.5, and then you charge from there. With all that, the Gilded Legion are now moving faster than Seal Temple. Nice. Will I use it? Heck yeah, I want my Gilded Legion to get there. One of my things I was always annoyed about with Gilded Legion was that they were so goddamn slow. And most of the time, it was like my opponent was hitting me, and I'm like, man, I want to get the fuck in here. And also, they're already coming on the table. They're already getting Vanguard from the Imperial Officer. I just need them to get into that fight as quickly as possible. This is the way to do it. Next, Student of War, Tip of the Lance, Vet Cavalry, currently gain Wedge. Still good. It's Wedge. Eccentric Fighting Style, still good. Eccentric Fighting Style, plus 2 attacks, reroll. Front of the line, Veteran Infantry gain Bravery. So this is you auto rally on your draw command step, and you ignore Terrifying and Fearless. Not Fearless, Terrifying and Fearsome. So keep yourself alive. So you can combine from the front with Oblivious from the Crusading Noble Lord, with his Higher Resolve, with his Indomitable +2 to just keep people alive. Then we got the Prius Convictions. This is Theist characters only. The Theist Regiment's characters cast you adds +1 to resolve to a max of 4. I think you could slap this on Crusaders and then go up to 4. And then we got Glimmers of Faith. The Regiment, the characters attached to re-rolls failed resolve tests. This is only for the Theist Priest, so he's going to be in a unit of Crusaders. He's going to be in a unit of Scutari. That's not going to be bad. Then we got Student of Arcane. I've kind of gone over these when we talked about the Chapter Mage, because she's really going to be the one going over this, or taking this, because it's Chapter Mage only. There we go. Talked about the spells. Okay. Get a little drink, because I'm a little dry here. Let's talk about the regiments. Overall, so far, a lot of front-loaded stuff. I like it. It's pretty good. My issues with it currently are horses are still slow. There's not very many upgrades for cavalry. Cavalry did get nerfed a little bit. Loss of impact attacks from like the speed of horse. Cost went up, as is tradition with horses. There's less things they can take from the upgrade pool now. So it's kind of like, okay, you have 5 cav regiments. Please, add some cav stuff. I would really appreciate that. My second biggest complaint is that the shooting regiments are still not diversified enough. Like, I don't know if I talked about this, but I was thinking about this when I went over the preview last month. And Sorcerer Kings has 4 shooting regiments, and they are all distinct from each other for what job they are doing. While 100k has 5 shooting regiments, and only one of them is currently distinct enough from them, and that would be the Hunter Cadre. But with the advent of light scoring and your light being a shooting regiment, they're actually pretty good. And because of how the war bands have changed with the Mounted Noble Lord and the Crusaders, getting access to longbows and using longbows is much easier now than it was before. Because before it's like, well, do I take longbows or do I take Household Knights? Well, I kind of want Household Knights because they can just get in the way and support my flanks. But I'd really like longbows to sit in the back and shoot. But I can't have both. Now you can have both. Now you can enjoy your warband setup. What I greatly appreciate and like. Were there some trade-offs? Yes, the Household Knights went up 20 points. Did they need that? Probably, to be honest. Especially with the combos I've already mentioned, with how tanky they can be. Yeah, they need to go up 20 points. So, we're starting with the first one, Imperial Ranger Corps. Either the Race to the Bottom podcast will come out before or after this, the release of this one. And I still think Imperial Ranger Corps are one of the worst things in 100k. You have better options for light scoring in 100k with the Merc Crossbows, and then access into Hunter Cadre. The Merc Crossbows are still very good. Your guys are the same range. Your Volley 3. Your Veterans is 15 points, same as the Merc Crossbows. But you always count as obscuring against enemy volley, so you're kind of a good counter battery, but you still just die the same because you're evasion 1 / defense 1 and you're 4 wounds. You're a little faster, but like you're just outclassed still by Merc Crossbows. So you are the weakest link. Goodbye. I don't really care for you. Merc Crossbows. You went up 5 points. You also get banners for free and stuff. Everyone got their banners for free. If anyone's complaining about banners as like, oh, I want to pay for banners, it's like, man, we got veteran options to pay for. Like, it was 15 points just to put obscuring onto Imperial Office or Imperial Ranger Corps. It's, where are they? 10 points to put support +1 on Men at Arms. It is, what's something cool? 10 points to put +1 volley within effective range on longbows. Like, you have your shit. Like, if you want to spend some little dinky points, do that. Like, and if you have 10 points left over, go buy yourself a Mask of Icadus. Like, getting Indomitable 1 for anybody is fantastic. It's great. So, Merc Crossbows. Still really good. They're always going to be really good. They're still effective. They have been kept getting nerfed because they were so good, they were so effective. You're still playing them. So, what is going on with their veterans? Because that's the big thing. Like, all their stats are the same. The only change is that they went up 5 points in veterans. From the preview, the veterans went down to 15 points. Thank goodness, because it was too expensive at 20. You will be trying to get veterans for free as much as possible. So putting the Merc crossbows into feudal warbands to get it for free is going to be kind of your choice to go. And if they are veterans, if they're in effective range, you get +1 to your volley, so you're going to be walking in and shooting. And then once the lines clash and they're fighting your Household Guard block, your Gilded Legion block, your Household Knights, you're going to be just taking aim at volley 4 and shooting with +1 shot. You're going to be a 4 stand minimum. So you're going to have 4, 8, 10, 10 plus 3, 13, plus another 4, 17 shots at volley 4. Gonna be really good. Yes, you are within 8 inches, but if your line is holding and you're getting 17 shots at volley 4, you're gonna be really cutting into people at that AP1. And that's what you want to do. And on top of that, if you're with the Imperial officer, and because you're veterans, you're gonna be opportunists, so those 4s rerolling everything for that one turn is gonna be very effective. Merc crossbows, you're still the king of shooting. Like, however, there are still 2 other options that I'm looking at whenever I'm choosing my shooting, and one of them we're going to talk about next, but you're kind of still the king, but you do have people who are closer to you. Hunter Cadre, you guys kind of got kicked in the shins a little bit. You still are very good, though. Hunter Cadre being medium in flank has been a kind of a big godsend for them to be effective. They also are vets innately. However, they no longer can get up to volley 3. If they were not veterans, or if you could spend extra points to make them veterans and get them to volley 3, I'd like that more. However, you will have access to Fiend Hunter, and as the ongoing of the Yoni faction has come out, and a lot of monsters are coming out, and there's a lot of brutes, they are still going to be very effective with their Fiend Hunter just shooting into things. They can go into melee when needed, but their primary role is still going to be shooting. They did receive another nerf. They went from range 18 to 16. What kind of sucks, but you got a flank medium that can score but can shoot. Also, their Null Mage. Null Mage is really funny. Let's talk about that guy really quick. We'll just go down here. When the regiment forms a Clash of Volley action against any regiment that contains priests or wizards, you gain deadly shots and deadly blades. Nice. Fuck you, Mahut. Eat a dick and die. Oh, that's stupid, Mahut. Anyway, they're still really good. I like what they're doing with Hunter Cadre. I do wish there was a way to gain back that volley 3. Like, I would pay extra points for it, to be honest. Like, if they did not have veterans innately and you could buy it, I'd be like, yep, done. I would buy veterans for that volley 3, easy. I know why they did it, but I'm also kind of like, give it back, please, for the love of God. Also, like, make them, you know what, make them Barrage 4. Fuck it, if you're going to take the volley away, make them Barrage 4. Give us something that's not Barrage 3, god damn it. I fucking hate looking at Barrage 3. I'm so sick of it. That's what I'm getting at. Next on our list of wonderful things, we'll do Gilded Legion. Gilded Legion I do like. Gilded Legion are really good. Gilded Legion are same stat line as before. They have built-in draw event Bastion 1, so you now no longer have to pay for the seasoned veteran. They have all the same stuff they are going before. With the Imperial Officer, you're going to get Hardened 1 onto them. You're going to make them secure zones. They already have Iron Discipline, so you don't really care about that. The Drill Master is +1 attack in Vanguard. To be honest, it's 20 points. You're probably not going to pay for it, to be honest. You lost a little bit of Clash. I think they're still the same point. Like, you're not vetressing them, but they are still 170 points. But they are still really good. Additional stands for 40 points is really good because you are pretty cheap to get more stands. Men-at-Arms. Men-at-Arms improved a little bit. And by a bit, I mean they are still dirt cheap. Seasoned Veterans gives you Hardened 1. You have an Imperial Officer nearby, you're just going to give them Hardened 1. You don't need to spend points on it. Neophyte gave them Devout. If you're throwing them into Crusading Noble Lord, you're going to get Devout anyway. Neophyte also, where are you? Gives you Fearless. Yeah, that's fine. Basically, Men-at-Arms, you're going to run them with, like, the Crusading Noble Lord, because you're going to put Elysium Fragment on them, and you're going to make them budget Crusaders. Oh, I lost myself. That's kind of what you're going to do with them. And you're going to veterans them because you want that support +1 attack. That's really it. Because they're support 2 base? Should this regiment have veterans battle, it gains support +1. If it does not have support, it gains support 2. So it'll be support 2. But then in the Army Builder app, browse 100k. No, lists. Where is it? This one. Where are they? There they are. It says they have support 3. So something is wrong between the app and the PDF. Parabellum should get that looked at. Next. Steel Legion. Nothing changed on you. Your mainstay, you didn't go down any points. You got the Drill Master, who gives Vanguard 4, I believe, and +1 attack. +1 attack is not bad, but you're paying for Vanguard while before it was double time. I would probably take double time over the Vanguard 4. And I kind of wish that was back. It looks like double time is Inspires only now, and they're going to be getting an update after Dwag, so maybe double time is just leaving the game. Your issue is that you're a heavy, and you have the stats of a medium, and you die like a medium. So you kind of... You might just say, become a medium, please. That's my only wish for Steel Legion. Nothing has changed on them. Longbows. 10 points for veterans. I believe this was 15 before and went down to 10 because it was a little too expensive. But they have the same advanced targeting training as the Merc crossbows. They're going to be shooting a little further away at 11 inches instead of 20... Oh! Their range also went from 24 to 22. Thank you, Parabellum. Why are the longbows less than the same as the marksman clones? Probably because Spires is so great, and fuck having a long range gun and having the longest gun. Also, I know there's talks of like marksman clones are going to be receiving a range decrease as well, but they're only going to get that when their time in the sun finally hits. So it's just going to balance out normally. So they're probably going to be looking at like a 20 or an 18, to be honest, because everything else is losing range. Longbows as well. I don't know. Like, them getting better is basically them being allowed to score for 40 points. So being 180 and just being allowed to score. And then having that super far shooting. Barrage 3 is still a little sad. Like, just Barrage 3, Volley 2. Like, change it up, guys, please. So I'm still sad about the shooting because it's just the same. You just kind of pick your poison. The only nice thing is that they can score, so they'll just sit in and do back end scoring. Militia Bowmen, you're cheap as fuck. You went up 5 points. You're still cheap as fuck. That's it. Militia themselves, you get support +1 if you are a vets for 5 points. You're still the exact same. Kind of the Servite. Okay, we'll talk about the Servite and the Neophyte. So the Neophyte we found gives Devout and Fearless. The Servite, if you are in an Orders regiment, only Veil in the army, including the Orders character, you get +1 to your March and Resolve. So you can't be a little quick with the Theist Priest anymore. Jesus Christ, there we go. So you're just, you're going to be March 5 unless you're with like an Errant of the Order of the Shield, and then you can go up to 6, and then you can also be Resolve 3. And be a little more survivable and movable, but you are defense 2. But why would you take a like the only time you're taking that Servite is for the movement? And it's just kind of like at that point, especially because it's Orders, who's going to be taking away one of those advantages of Resolve +1 because he's going to give you Resolve 4 for being in the regiment, but that Resolve +1 isn't going to carry over because it's during list building. So it's kind of like Mounted Squires, Impact 2 instead of Impact 1. That's good. On top of that, they have the Advanced Vanguard training for 10 extra points to make them veterans, and if they are veterans, they gain Tenacious 2 against shooting, which is actually really good. The only issue I have with them is that they are lights that cannot score, and you kind of want light scoring currently in the game. So, Mounted Squires, I like what you're doing, but you need to be able to score currently. The increase of impacts is good. Another thing about them is that they went down Clash because their veterans now no longer works because that's not how it was. Like, it's changed from before. So you cannot get them to Clash 4 always inspired. Or sorry, Clash 3 always inspired, so to Clash 4 with the Opportunists. So it's kind of like, well, they're Clash 2 with Opportunists and they're fast, but they're also defense 2 with a shield, and they have tenacious against shooting, and they're kind of just going to get shot up and die before they get there. The tenacious against shooting is still going to be effective, but they're not going to be as threatening when they finally get there due to the reduction in clash. That's kind of it. Household Guard, you guys basically stayed the same. You spend 10 points to get support +1 to support 3. That's really nice. Was the army builder saying these guys were support 4 for some reason? I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest here. Let me just build this really quick. You, Household Guard, says no, they are support 2 and the army builder good. Just gotta make sure, because there seems to be a difference between the army builder and the PDF. All the same stats. Their arms master is 25 points and gives you clash +1 to clash 3. You take the banner for Dauntless and Inspired, so you're clash 4, and then you have the Noble Lord beside them for 4s for rolling 6s. So you get they haven't changed. Just how you do it is a little different, but they literally have not changed. Skatari. Okay, let's talk about these guys. Speed 6, Resolve 4, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, clash 3, cleave 1. Defense and evasion 2. They're devout. They have divine purpose and support 2, so they can go really fast. They can hit pretty accurately with that clash 3 going inspiring up to 4 with their cleave 1s. They're going to be doing some damage. And they can kind of cockroach survive, similar to the Avatara. Not as well as the Avatara, because the Avatara are defense 4 base, while also being evasion 2, while these guys are evasion 2. So they are a little expensive, but the thing about them is that they're a great MSU, just running around killing stuff. That's kind of why you want to add them into lists. It's like, oh, I got some points left over. I need something that's self-sufficient, that'll actually do some work in my Theist list building. Grab some Sakari. They're going to do it. Household Knights, you guys went up for 20 points. Did you need to? Yes. Same stats as before. Advanced cavalry training. You can't buy veterans on them, so you either have to add a character with the personal entourage to give them veterans for clash +1, or you have to have them in the Warlord's Warband or Dynastic Alliance's Warband to give them, veterans on everything in his Warband. That's kind of your play around. So the most things you can get, the most Household Knights you can get veterans on is 3. So just look at that. Then we got Crusaders. They're kind of like better Rajacore. Like, they have the same builds of like clash 2, 4 wounds, resolve 3, defense 2 with the shields of 3, and harden 1. So they have a little bit of survivability. They are devout, so getting spells off them is kind of nice. But if you veterans them for 10 points, pretty cheap, to 150, they'll gain flawless strike, so all their ones will be smites. So they kind of act like rats. I kind of call them the rat unit of 100k, because you're like, oh, they're fucking annoying to deal with. And if you don't deal with them, they can like punch up and do a bunch of smites if you're lucky, and just really put some damage into something, and you're like, oh, that's not great. So yeah, they're kind of the rats of 100 Kingdoms, where it's like, you gotta go deal with them, but they're not really, you don't really want to send something decent into them, you just want to send something efficient, but there's really nothing efficient except for something decent, and you really don't want that decent thing to just get like clobbered by a bunch of flawless strikes and whatever else the fucking Crusading Noble Lord is going to be doing. So yeah, they're kind of like rats, and you just kind of have to go deal with them, and they're annoying as fuck. I like the Crusaders, they're fun. Alright, Archangel time. Let's talk about this bad boy. 3 things went on immediately that was really nice. Went up to 18 wounds, yay. Went up to evasion 2, yay. As we've already talked, we get this thing up to evasion 3. It went from 270 to 260, yay. These are all really good. It has cleave 2. This is probably the best and easiest thing to get cleave 2 and deliver cleave 2 onto anything. So what I mean by that is, Steel Legion are slow. This Archangel is March 7. That's a lie. It is March 9, because it triggers its own divine purpose with its own Spirit Glimmers rule, where everything within 12 of it counts as their divine purpose was activated regardless of whether the regiment has been the target of a Theist spell or not. So your first march is going to be 9, and then your second march is going to be 7. What's going to be 16 inches was very good, and you're going to be doing a 10-inch charge minimum. You got 5 impacts, you got 12 attacks, you're a class 3, you're doing pretty well. You also have Fearless 1, so you're going to be doing really well that way. My only issue with it is that it doesn't have Unstoppable baseline. I don't know if that's kind of like, oh, because you have divine purpose and are going really far, you don't need unstoppable, but I'm also like, just throw unstoppable on it. You don't want to fail charges with your monsters, just throw unstoppable on it. It has 2 weapons. We got the sword. When it performs a charge, its charge distance is 12, ignoring the effects of hindering. And should the charge complete, it causes 7 hits with smite. So you're going to get your 5 impact attacks, and then you're going to cause your 7 auto hits with smite. These will both be affected by the Terrifying 1. And if you do charge an objective marker, it is immediately destroyed. And that is, it can be performed as the first action, that it's the only action, and action immediately ends. It's a heavy monster. It's going to kill the objective marker anyway. And the other aspect of it, the aspect of Redeemer giving it the Spear and Shield, gives it a shield. So it'll be defense 4. What's good? You kind of want that to keep it alive. It's going to catch a lot of stray shots because it's so big. And you want it to have the defensibility to live. On top of that, all the Theist infantry regiments with an 8 of it are going to get regen X when it, makes contact based on the successful hits against enemy regiments. So that's going to include your impacts and your clash. I'm not a huge fan of this because it also stops at a maximum of 5. I really wish it just kind of kept and went up all the way. I don't know if that maximum of 5 is needed. Sometimes it'll be nice. Sometimes it won't matter because there's nothing with an 8 of you, or the other thing that is with an 8 of you is healed up, and you're kind of just like chaining stuff around. It's the same issue with kind of like Prometheans and Hephaestians, except the Promethean puts out a bubble. I think the Promethean is a little better for how it does its buffs, because its buffs are stats that you kind of have to be around. It's been a while since I've looked at this thing, to be honest. Promethean, there you go. Temporary Resolve. All non-monster regiments with an 8 of it gain a buff. All with an 8 of it gain a buff. So you can move in and gain the buff, while, because it does regen X as a draw event, you have to be already in position for when this thing does its hits and clashes. So while the Promethean can charge in, do its damage, and then the next thing can activate and go up and benefit from that bubble, you have to already be where the Archangel wants to be for this bubble to trigger. What kind of sucks for positioning, if it was just like maybe at the end of activation or the start of activation. So if you ended with an 8, you could get the healing. If you activate with an 8, you can get the healing. It'd be a little better. Overall, I like her a lot more than I did originally, just because of the stat change and the point decreases. My issue with Double the Fallen Divinity is that, or sorry, not Fallen Divinity, Archangel, is that at 260 she's expensive. She's the same cost as Order of the Ashen Dawn, and it makes it limits how much stuff you're going to have innately. It's the same thing with grabbing a bunch of Ashen Dawn. Those 260 points adds up, especially because both of them are restricted. So it means you have to spend points on Mainstay, and if you're trying to get more Ashen Dawn, more Archangels, you're getting less and less quality Mainstay. So you're not grabbing Crusaders, you're not grabbing Siktari, you're not grabbing Men-at-Arms, you're grabbing like Militia Bowmen and stuff. What just kind of die, so that's what you're kind of looking for. That's my issue with Double Archangel. 1 is probably fine. Her Spirit Glimmer's bubble of 12. You can do 2. The other issue I have with having 2 is that getting them out on the same turn is very rarely going to happen. It's nice when it does, but it's just going to be a little tough just because of how reinforcements are. She has no flank or anything, so it's just kind of like, oh, did I do it? No. Okay, well, guess one's coming out on 4 or on 4, and you're like, you really want that bubble of Spirit Glimmers just so that everyone can get their divine purpose triggered. Order of Ashen Dawn, the same. Yeah, they're the same. Still good. Sealed Temple, you went up 10 points because fuck orders. Nope, because you're really good with Fluid Formation. Order of Crimson Tower, you went up 20 points. Oh boy, oh no. However, you did get Devastating Charge. Should you perform a march immediately followed by a charge, you gain Impact +1 and Line Breaker. Thank goodness, because Line Breaker, what does that do again? I don't remember. I don't think I've actually played with Line Breaker because none of the factions I had it. 100k. Order of Crimson. Line Breaker. You ignore Shield and Bastion. Nice. Okay. So it does help out. It also incentivizes you to charge. You also have free banners, so you're going to be re-rolling that charge anyway. You're going to be so you're going to have a 15 minimum charge. What's nice, and because you're a heavy coming on, you kind of just want to be charging, getting in there anyway. And most of the time, you're going to be fighting someone's front. So having Line Breaker is going to take away any defensive bonuses that they have, like their shields and their bastions. But I actually do like adding an extra 20 points for that is a little bit, and also they're still a heavy, also getting them on the table. Like, it's my issue with, like, having 4 heavies is that, like, okay, you get, like, 1 or 2, and then, like, oh, okay, the other ones kind of trickle in. Like, you need them to be doing work as soon as possible. It's always the thing with the heavies is that you need them to be doing work as soon as possible. And taking too many heavies doesn't allow that, because your heavies are going to be coming on turn 5, and they're not going to be contributing until 6 and onward, what maybe is too little too late for you to be effective to outscore your opponent. I do like this change. It does make Crimson Towers better, getting up to that Impact 5, because Impact 4 isn't enough, so yeah. Good job, Crimson Towers. Anything in here that wasn't really talked about? Yeah, that's the document. Okay. So, overall with the document itself, I like the combinations between Feudal, Imperial, and Theist. I like the combinations between Theist, so Theist, Imperial, and Feudal. That's really good. Imperial and Orders is good. Feudal and anybody is really good. Orders, you're probably doing Imperial because you want scoring. Orders and Feudal isn't bad, but I would probably go with Order and Imperial. This whole update was majority focusing on Theist, so they got the biggest glow up. Makes sense. But it's good. I do like it. There's a lot of list building. I've kind of talked about some things of like combos you can do, and as the faction gets explored more and people start finding more stuff out, you'll see more things. And I'm really excited to just kind of delve back into 100k because it was so stale before. Some things I'd like to see improved. Make the cab better. Give some more things to focus on cavalry, or open up some abilities to affect cavalry more. They're still too slow, to be honest, because everything else in the game is currently very fast. Give some more stuff to orders. There's still stats, what's fine. It's just that there needs to be a little bit more abilities to affect them. The whole thing is affecting infantry, so they're not receiving as much love. And then also relook at the ranged elements of 100k. Start adding a barrage higher than 3. Start looking at maybe a volley higher than 2. Make them do something interesting. There's lots of options there in the game, and 100k has the most shooting regiments and the most cavalry regiments. Add some stuff. Focus on the things. Those are what I'm looking for. Besides that, I like it. I'm going to play it. I already made my order for a bunch of stuff. Let us talk about lists. So, here's the list. First one, we got Fishmonger. I sat down with Aaron from Just Roll Ones the other day and kind of used them as a rubber ducky to build lists. For 100k list building, I would very much recommend not thinking about old 100k list building. You really got to pull your head out of that, because the issue with what I was finding was that you were either going to be 15 points above or like 80 points below, and you couldn't get like your last little bit to lock in the list and be happy with it. So you just need to kind of rethink the list and how you want to do them all. First off, we have an Imperial Officer Warlord. He's got Armor Devotion, he's got Mantle St. Nick, and he has CZ Advantage. So that is that combo I was talking about making Gilded Legion go fast. There's the Gilded Legion. There's 8 stands of them. They're going to be going fast. An MSU Merc Crossbows, and then a 4-stand of Merc Crossbows. So one of these can score. 3 stands of Hunter Cadre, they can score. That's good. That's fine. Thieves Priest with Double Sectarian and an Archangel. She's with the Aspect of the Redeemer. She get her Divine Spirit Glimmer's bubble going out and her healing. Lastly, we have our dynastic ally, Crusading Noble Lord. He is in a block of 6 men-at-arms. They are veterans, so that they can get that support up to 3. And, or from the PDF, I believe it was 2. I don't know what the heck is going on there. If I unveterans them. But if you do veterans them, they go to support 3. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Maybe this is a bug. They're going to have support 2, or they're going to have support 3. Hopefully they have support 3, because support 2 isn't that great. Then he's got that Banish the Darkness, what I talked about, so that's going to give the Oblivious. He's getting position, so you got that other unit of flank. And he's got the Elysium Fragment on the men-at-arms. So they're going to go up to Cleave 3 for a turn. So they're going to be Indomitable 3, Harden 1 from the Imperial Officer. They're going to be Oblivious. And they're going to get a spell from the Theist Priest. I don't know. You'll give them, like, just Blessed or something. And then they're going to get the Elysium Fragment. And they're going to hit a bunch of people. And if it is true that they're supposed to be support 3, you can just run them in like a 2, or like either by a 3x3 or a 3x2 or a 2x3, and just kind of like get a bunch of attacks. Overall, not bad. Skatari helping out, supporting those flanks, being March 6 is always going to be good. Do these guys have a banner? They do not have a banner. Just make them unstoppable. People like to make successful charges. It's super annoying. So yeah. Turn 1, you're getting some more crossbows out, and then turn 2, you're getting 2 mediums for sure, and then turn 3, you're getting 2 heavies for sure, and your other light. So you're getting a decent cascade of things coming on as the game goes on. That's Fishmonger. Thank you to Aaron from Just For Once. Next, we got the Competent Crusaders. This is a Carl list. Good old Carl. We have an Imperial Officer Dynastic Alliance. We have changed his warband to double Merc Crossbow, double Hunter Cadre. Both lights are going to be coming on. And both Hunter Cadre are coming on. So his entire warband is going to be coming on the turns that are available. And he has 3 out of the 4 of them that can score, because he's going to be seeing some Merc Crossbows. Next, we have a Theist Priest in a block of Crusaders. They're vets. The Theist Priest has get in position so that he can get them on turn 2, the flank. So we got double Hunter Cadre coming on, and we got the Theist Priest and the Crusaders who are coming on. Next, we got a Crusading Noble Lord with Men-at-Arm block of 7. And he has Elysium Fragment, Banish Darkness for Oblivion, and then he has From the Front. We'll give them Bravery, so they are fearless, and they are auto-rally. That'll be really good, because they're going to be Resolve 4. So they're going to get a lot of work out of that. And they're going to be Indomitable 2, which is just going to be really good. And he's going to be our auto-in, so we're going to have 4 mediums coming on turn 2, which is going to be really good. So you're going to have 2 lights, followed by 4 mediums. Then you might have 2 Sakari, who you actually get to roll on, who you're like, come on, boys, show up. Turn 3, you're going to get your Archangel, and then hopefully your Sakatari will show up on turn 3 as well, but they might trickle in on turn 4. Overall, pretty good list. A lot of combos. Still got your Archangel running around doing stuff. Plenty of good shooting. Lots of scoring. That's what you kind of want to see. Next thing we have here is the Unkillable Household Knight Bust. This is another pretty good list. This focuses on Theist and Feudal. So, I don't think you are. Okay. So we have a Theist Priest who's in a unit of Skitarii with the max of Icatus, what's going to give the Skitarii Indomitable 2. With the Archangel, once again, in the shield. Basically, they're all going to be shields, because kind of the best one. Even if the sword looks cool, the sword does look very cool. But shield's just going to help you more often. Then we got a Mounted Noble Lord. He's our Dynastic Alliance, whatever I want to say. He's going to be running double Household Knights and Merc Crossbows and Longbows. They both have 4 stands. Because he is the Dynastic Ally, they are all going to be veterans. So you're going to get a lot of work out of that. He's turn champion with a Lorien Lance. Get as much out of your impacts as you can. Then we got a Crusading Noble Lord with 6 Crusaders. They have vets. They have the Flawless Strikes. He's got, Oblivious and Get in Position, so they're automatically going to be coming on. And then lastly, we have another Mounted Noble Lord with 1 unit of Household Knights, because, of course, we just need more Household Knights. That is the whole point of the Unkillable Household Knights, is that you want to have a bunch of them and make them really, really hard and annoying to deal with. There will be Indomitable Bubbles. There will be Blessed on all of them. There will be personal entourages of them. It'll be fun for everyone but your opponent. because you can also give reroll 6s and reroll 6s on the Crusaders. Oh, can you? No, they're not feudal. No, you cannot. Sucks to be you. Because I'm pretty sure you have to be feudal. If I make you the Warlord, does it give me your supremacy? When friendly regiments are with feudal regiments are with 8. Yeah, okay. There we go. So you're going to give it to all your Hustle Knights. So you're going to give it to your... Yeah, that's it. Give it your Hustle Knights. If you had Men-at-Arms instead of Crusaders, you could give it to them that way. I might swap that. Actually, just make these guys Men-at-Arms. Actually, let's do that right now. So delete that. Add in Men-at-Arms. Give yourself an Elysium Fragment. And vets you guys. And then 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, okay, there we go. And then they are feudal as well, so then you can get the bubble onto them. Yeah, I like that one too. There's a variant already. So you just have to think about it a little more. Okay, next one. The People's Orders. So this is going to be Imperial and Orders. So you got Errant of the Order, the Shield, he's the Warlord. You got 3 stands of Militia Bowmen, you got a 4 stand of Militia Bowmen for using score. You got double Ashen Dawn. Then you get the Imperial Officer with his 3 stand armor crossbow and then 4 stand armor crossbow so they can all score. And then you get double Hunter Cadre. Then you get 2 units of Steel Temple. That's it. There's no upgrades. I don't know. It's just showing that you can get a bunch of order stuff, and taking Imperial is probably your best bet. Unless you want to go feudal. But I just wanted a bunch of early scoring with some decent shooting, followed up by order stuff to kind of punch out the opponent. That's the idea of the list. Killable Hustle Knight boss. The idea of the list is to make Hustle Knights as annoying as possible to kill and combo together with a Theist. So that's Feudal Theist. Competent Crusader is Imperial Theist. And Fishmonger is Imperial Theist. So there's a bunch of combos there. You could combo Feudal and Orders together. That one's not going to be bad because then all your command stands and characters are going to be like getting Flurry and +1 attacks and all that stuff. But these are the 4 lists that I want to kind of test out and play right away as I've built and I'm interested in playing. So yeah, that's kind of my talk. I really like the changes, to be honest. There's always more work to be done. There's some things that I think are a little falling behind. The monster controversy quotes over 100k. I don't know, to be honest, just get over yourself. It's a mini War Dolly game. Like, I was asked by Daryl at Adepticon last year, what do you think of a monster in 100k? And I said, I could kind of go either way. I do like the horses. I like that there's no monsters. I like there's no brutes in 100k. But also if they made a monster and they made it good, yeah, I'd play it. Yeah, I'd enjoy it. The Archangel's good. It's enjoyable. It's going to be fun. I don't think you're going to be taking 2 in a list just because it's a huge point sink and you kind of want to flex out to other stuff. But you can do 2 in a list. I did some list building with 2 and it just kind of got really tight on points. That's what I kind of found after a while, and that's why I've kind of gone with 1. I have ordered 2, and at some point I will play 2 just to see how it goes. But right off the bat, oh, there, that one's gone. These are the 4 lists I want to play. So, thank you for listening / watching. I will put this out as an audio format. It's more of a visual format. Maybe I should have said at the beginning. I forgot to. That's fine on me. To be honest, I actually recorded this and my mic was muted for the first 45 minutes. I had to redo it all. It was super fun. But if you enjoyed this, if you want to, like and subscribe, there's the BonkTable YouTube channel. There is the BonkTable Discord. There's Bonk Cassandra or Cassandra at BonkTable, whatever the hell her Twitter is. Join me there. Ask some questions. Let's hang out. Get a discussion going. Hope you guys all have a great time. Bye.